Welcome to this new episode of Digital Dialogs with Gururaj Rao and Vinayak Khadye. Before we begin with the podcast, here is a brief introduction of Guru and Vinayak. Gururaj Rao is a well-respected professional with more than 2 decades of experience in CXO roles in banking, financial services and insurance companies in India. Vinayak Khadye has more than 2 decades of experience in leadership roles in consulting, insurance industry and also as a co-founder of a startup in edtech space. He is the founder of Techaways Consulting. In Digital Dialogs podcast series, Gururaj and Vinayak go beyond jargons and buzzwords in the digital world and bring to the fore the true meanings of these terms. They discuss models, methodologies, technologies, architectures, case studies and challenges and issues associated with digital initiatives, which can help you as decision maker. In this concluding episode of the 2-episode podcast on Enterprisewide Data Management, Guru and Vinayak continue to discuss importance and relevance, processes, and tools involved in enterprise-wide data management. Over to Guru and Vinayak.
So, for all this flow of data, from the source till the usage and review, you need to have various solutions. I first mentioned about the CDC, then about the BI tool, then about the data warehouse. Even across these solutions, you need to have other tools working. You need to have the data catalog to maintain the definition of the data. You need to track the data, where are they created, where are they modified, where are they moving. And this is actually also a part of data lineage. So if you're getting a report, for example, and you're getting a particular field or a particular data point, how is it come about? Okay, where are you getting it from? Where did you pick it? How did you transform it? How did you bring it to the report, etc. Data lineage, right? The complete tracing back of the data to its source. That's extremely essential. That's one thing. The second part is data catalog, data lineage, etc. And if you would typically, as the organization grows and as it becomes older, larger, more complex, you will find multiple sources of data. You're not going to have everything coming into a single monolith place. The era of monoliths in any case in various situations is over. You will have multiple sources. And even today you have organizations where you would have sources of data on premise, you would have on the cloud. So there are various reasons for that. Some applications may be SaaS, some, so you will get data from various places. How do you bring them all on a single pane for extracting the data and using it? That is called data virtualization. You virtually bring the data together. You connect to the various sources. You don't need to again bring all the data here and then you join and you analyze and create fresh reports, etc. You can virtually look at the data on a single pane and create the outputs. So that's again a new or a recent development, not very recent, a few years ago, but people have started adopting it to a large extent recently, data virtualization. So that's the other technology which is important, and it helps in all this, the data lineage, in data cataloging across various solutions, etc. So data virtualization, and you also, after all this, you also need to ensure governance of the data. You need to ensure that the data is retained, it is disseminated, it is also deleted as per the requirements. You have to ensure access controls. You need to also ensure proper handling of PI, personal information, which means encryption, anonymization, masking, whatever are the techniques required, right? So your tools have to be able to handle that. And a lot of stuff gets done across the organizations and all that, right? Not everywhere you will find analysts within the organization. They may be in some agencies outside, outsourced. So how do you ensure control of data once it leaves your organization? There again, you will have IRM or DRM, digital rights management or information rights management tools coming in, which will at the granular level enforce controls on access and usage and retention of the data. So I mean, you can specify, so many times it can be opened, it can be saved, it can be copied, or it cannot be copied. It can be printed, not printed, and after X date it needs to be deleted. So all that can be done data set wise. Right? So that's another important requirement. The other requirement that we all have is, people say that data is not of good quality. So there is, in quality, you have what is known as data profiling, data deduplication, data quality enhancement. Okay, all those again are now finer technologies which have become fairly mature. A lot of offerings in that space. So different applications may capture. I mean, just to give you an example, different applications may capture name differently, address differently, okay, phone numbers differently. How do you bring them all together? Okay, some of them may be made mandatory, some of them may be non-mandatory. Then how do you handle those? How do you handle records where some information is available, not available? So all those are critical. And today, when it comes to, say, customer communication or customer consent management and all this, it's necessary, first of all, to have a golden record of the customer. You need to dedupe the customer across multiple sources and maintain a common record of the customer's preferences, choices, and all that, right? So you can't expect the customers say preference of a language to be recorded in each application separately. You would need to do it in one place. Same way, if he changes his preference with regard to sharing data, processing data, you need to keep it in one place. You can't be in violation, right? So all that happens through what is known as a master data management. Again, it's not just the customer information. Master data management is also used for, say, product information and other business related information within the organization. So that's another tool which is used in data engineering. Okay, so after all this, when you do the models, right, statistical models which I mentioned about for predictive and prescriptive analysis, how do you govern those models? Okay, the data sets that an analyst takes, he has to do certain valid modifications to the data sets, right? I mean, he may eliminate some records for some purposes, he may modify them for some purposes, and then come up with a model. How do you govern that entire step? How do you evaluate that the model that is giving is valid as per the statistical methods? That, there are, I mean, he has gone through the steps, he has not made any obvious errors or missed out anything. The test results are signed off, and then they are deployed, and then there are, reviews and modifications of the model, like we do in, say, SDLC, right? In an application, you do the application development, then you test it, then you have version control, you have changes happening, all that, right? So it's similar to that in terms of models, statistical models. It can't be done purely on a single desktop of a analyst, right? I mean, the analyst, you give him a spreadsheet of data, and then he does his work, and then he just gives it for integration into the CRM or anywhere else. You can't do that. I mean, there has to be a governance mechanism. So that is known as model operations, model ops. So there are tools available for that as well, where you can start from the data set and complete the entire governance, model governance, review and governance. Or you can even pull in some available models in certain languages like R, Python, even Java, so, and put it into the model ops tool and govern that entire step. So this is the whole gamut of data management, data engineering technology, right? And while technology wise they look so separate, once you start using it for a particular purpose, you will see that everything will work together, will need to work with each other. I mean, like I said about the data privacy, I mean, you need to discover the data, you need to find out where all the data is lying, right? Suppose the customer name, customer ID, okay, where all they are lying, customer credit card number, etc. What do you need to do with that? Do you need to encrypt it? Do you need to anonymize it? What will you do? Who is accessing? What is being accessed? where is it being used, uh, all the entire gamut, so has to be gone through. So whether you are doing it for privacy purpose, whether you are doing it for creating a model, whether you are creating using it for just reporting to the regulators, all that you need to, you will need a set of tools to handle this entire stuff. If you are an organization of a significant size and complexity, if it is a
Absolutely.
small one or two applications and one or two databases, then you can work manually. But as you are maturing, growing, obviously you need to get into all these details. And it's a good sign that a lot of development is happening in this field. And I must also add that as we this has been fueled to a large extent by this larger concept called AI. Okay,
Yeah.
AI has been a driver for this, because AI needs a lot of data, and all these concepts get used in the data which is used for a lot of models, the fundamental models which are created for AI. While in organizations we have not yet started adopting AI to such a significant extent, um, AI's development is what seems to have fueled the development of data management, in various pieces, I should say.
True, true. Because I mean, essentially, AI is all about understanding patterns uh, based on the availability of data. But thank
Absolutely.
you, Guru, for this sort of quick overview on the entire. I mean, on the tools and you know technologies involved in sort of managing data through its life cycle from source where it gets generated and then consumption.
Yeah.
And then, as you discussed, consumption also happens at various levels, right? From
Yeah.
basic levels of simple reports to predictive analytics. So
Absolutely.
I think I think this was a good overview. I'm sure this will be useful. Sorry, you wanted to add something?
No, I'm just saying that this is a very different world as compared to applications, or
Yes.
compared to infrastructure, or compared to security. So in terms of technology, the entire data gamut. I mean, while in the past few years it's improved so much, it's something you have to dive deep into to actually realize the vastness of the subject.
Yeah, I mean, I could compare it with the IT infrastructure, right? I mean, people were transparent to IT infrastructure. They didn't care, I mean, business users,
Absolutely.
they didn't care about uh, what goes on. Of course, cloud to an extent, in fact, took the complexity of selecting and managing technology, I mean, infrastructure, IT infrastructure from the IT. So that way, the IT's job has become a lot easier.
Yeah.
I mean, to that extent, it can be the entire data management, because, can be compared with IT infrastructure, because business users at the end, don't care in terms of, uh, what goes on in ensuring and managing that managing the data is, as you said, is available, is accurate, is available at the time when you want, etc., etc.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so and unfortunately, it has been a slightly neglected area. While people talk about data-driven organizations, but then significant investments and efforts need to get in, okay, to really ensure that data quality is high, because ultimately the quality of data determines the quality of reporting, and then
Absolutely.
ultimately the decision making based on that.
Oh, very much.
So
And I can tell you, the processes are becoming fairly complex. I can assure you that even today, if you ask the people from one end of the data to the other end of the data, it's very difficult for people to, document or know about the entire pipeline. They only know about the immediate previous step and the immediate next step. But there are so many steps that it's very difficult. And suppose somebody makes some change somewhere, how does it impact anything? It's very difficult for people to know. The only thing that the business user will say is data is bad or not available. So whether
So
it's with regards to
that's
the
the, I mean,
availability, integrity, confidentiality, data management is very
you know,
important.
I'll give a simple example. The same client that I was talking about, we started building, dashboards which were very simple, scorecards,
Hmm.
for their sales team. And the data that they had given to us in September, and when we started doing, the UAT on uh, those reports in, let's say, 45 to 60 days later, we found that data had changed. So, I mean, the
It's,
source, there was change in the sources of data. So,
yeah, that's
and nobody realized it at their end, that it should be communicated to the, development team, so that, fixing can happen. So that's where,
exactly.
as you discussed, data cataloging is very important.
Yes,
You know what data you have, and where is it coming from. And
correct.
if that as a habit gets developed within organizations, then obviously a lot of these downstream efforts that happen, the rework can be minimized a lot.
Hmm.
uh,
I can fully empathize with the situation. And as the organization grows larger, the larger sources of larger number of sources, larger types of integrations. And in fact, I didn't touch upon the types of integrations. Maybe in some other talk we will do that. That again adds to the complexity of the entire architecture. So I would say that this is a wonderful area at the moment to for people to delve into, whether it is on the engineering side or whether it's on the analytics side. To be an analyst, of course, you need a lot of statistical skills and business knowledge. To be an engineering guy, you need to know a lot of technologies.
True. So thanks, Guru. This was a very interesting overview. Uh, in our following future episodes, we also intend to talk about, the trends of, emerging technologies, or
Absolutely.
adoption by enterprises in 2024. And I'm
Correct.
sure a lot of money is going to be spent by organizations on overall data management and fixing, the missing tools that they have on data management.
Agree.
Thanks, Guru, and thanks everyone for being with us today.
Here we conclude the last episode of podcast on enterprise-wide data management. Please like, share and subscribe to Digital Dialogues with Gururaj and Vinayak.